Hello and welcome to Cask Theology, a channel about theology and beer. Today we're looking at another one of the theisms, Atheism. My poor comment section. I'm going to need a drink for this one. One moment. That's better. Today we're looking at atheism. Now you might be wondering why a theology channel is mentioning atheism, as historically, theists and atheists have been at loggerheads and still are today, hence my quip about the comment section. However, if you're going to create a series of videos about the types of theism, you have to talk about it since it is, in essence, a type of theism. So, as with other videos in this series, I'm going to look at the name itself, then give a brief description, and then we'll look at some examples, and hope that my comment section doesn't catch on fire. So, the name itself. Atheism comes from, again, those ancient Greek chaps with the word atheos. We know that theos means God, so it's all about that letter A at the front. Now, when you stick an A in front of things in ancient Greek, it means opposite or negative or no. So, if we stick those together, we get a word that means no God. Atheism, then, is the position that there is no God. Atheism can come in many forms and can be religious or non-religious, and it's changed over time, much like religion has. Originally, it was used as a slur to denote someone who didn't follow the same religion as you, and was used against Christians by the Romans, who saw that they didn't follow their gods. Oh, they don't follow Mars, they have no God. Over the centuries, it's taken on its own shape, and today often carries the connotation of someone who is not part of a religion and doesn't believe their claims, or, at the extreme end, is hostile to religion. However, much like religion, atheistic thought is a spectrum containing all manner of positions concerning the concepts of God or its attitudes towards religion or the supernatural, from indifference all the way to hostility, but the core concept is the same, that God does not exist. So now we've got a definition for atheism, let's have a look at a few examples. Of course, there aren't really denominations or churches as such, but there are a couple of organisations or philosophies that we can look at. First off, there's secular humanism, which, as the name implies, is human-focused. The general idea is that humans can be moral and improve the world on our own, and that we don't require a god or religion to help us become better people. As with many atheist groups, they search for truth using science and reason, and work towards making the world a better place using them. Skepticism is a philosophy that some atheists follow, and, like their ancient Greek counterparts, question the claims of the religious regarding God or the supernatural, or the concepts surrounding it. Then, finally, we have New Atheism, which is the new kid on the block when it comes to atheism. The term itself was coined in the early 2000s and refers to a movement in the atheist community that believes that the claims of religion and superstition should not only be criticised, but they should be countered, especially where it's found in the public sphere, such as, say, education. Now, of course, since atheism isn't centralised in the form of an institution or a church, a lot of them overlap in terms of philosophy, and while some movements hold to certain ideas, atheism as a whole has no real creed or list of rules like, say, the Christian Church. The one thing all of them will agree on, though, is that there is no God. Now, there are in fact a couple of examples of religions that are considered atheist on one level or another, so the term non-theist may be a better description, but here's a few examples of them. Amongst the very liberal end of Christianity, there are denominations and groups that are in fact Christian atheists, which sounds like a paradox. They use the framework of Christianity as their guide to moral living, whilst denying all the supernatural stuff. Buddhism is another religion to mention, as it does not have a creator. Although it does acknowledge the existence of gods and spiritual beings, they're part of the natural cycle of birth and rebirth. Hinduism, of course, with its many flavours, is a place that atheistic forms of its religion can be found. Another notable non-theistic religion is Jainism, which has a cosmology which doesn't require a god to have made it. Lastly, we have Satanism, which comes in theistic and non-theistic forms. The Church of Satan, formed by Anton LaVey in the 1990s, is probably the most famous, and is non-theistic. And that about wraps up this brief explanation of atheism. Thank you for watching this short video on atheism. I hope you learned something today. I have to admit, this was a tough video to make because the subject's a bit broader than you would think, and I wanted to do it justice, all joking aside. As always, I've left links for some of the articles and books I've used in the description below if you want to look up some more. There's also going to be a couple of links to some YouTube channels as well. If you've got any extra info about atheism I couldn't fit into the video, why not leave a comment? In the next episode, I'll be going off track a bit and looking at folklore. If you don't want to miss that, consider subscribing. So, until next time, grab yourself a drink and keep asking questions.